In this demonstration, we're going to cover the different levels of formatting. So if you recall from the lessons, there were 4 different levels. We have the character formatting, paragraph formatting, section formatting, and page formatting. For the purposes of this demonstration, we're not going to demonstrate the section formatting, just the other 3. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and created a sample Word document on my desktop that I'm going to open, and it contains some text from one of the first lessons that we did in this class. So I'm going to use this Word document to demonstrate how you apply the different types of formatting. So the first level of formatting is character formatting, and that applies to individual characters by themselves. So if we zoom in a little bit here, I'm going to zoom in so we can see individual characters a little bit more clearly. If, say, we take this word dozen, it consists of 5 individual characters, but we can format each one of those characters differently from the other ones. So if we were to select the first 3 characters, the D, O, and Z, and we can change the color to say purple. We can take the last 2 letters and change that to a different color, say a red. So there's no limitation. We can change separate characters within a word to different formats if we wish. And all the different character level formatting can be found in this box here on the home ribbon, and that's only going to show you the most commonly used formatting attributes. If you want to see them all, you can highlight a character to right click on paragraph, or right click and click on font, and you're going to see all the different options you might not see on the home ribbon. So you see some other options such as being able to add a shadow to the letter, or putting a strike through if you wanted to. And you also see the common attributes up here, the font and the size and the color. So let's hit OK. You can see a strike through that one character now. You can also change the size of the font on different characters. So say we'll make those 2 characters bigger. So the really the important thing about character formatting is realizing that it's applied to each individual character. There's no limitation. You don't have to apply the same type of formatting to an entire word or to an entire paragraph. Each individual character is unique in that you can format it a different way. So if we look at paragraph formatting, as you've guessed, is that any paragraph formatting attributes you add to a paragraph is going to be applied to the entire paragraph by itself. There's no way to apply paragraph formatting to individual characters. So to be able to define where a paragraph starts and stops, it's pretty much whenever you hit the enter key on your keyboard, as you're going to be putting in what's referred to as a hard break. So when you look at a document, sometimes it's hard to tell where exactly did I hit the enter key. Looking at this document here, there's a pretty good chance that you hit the enter key right after you put in this period after the word read, but there's this gap here. So is there a blank line in there, or is it just space that's been put in? So to be able to see where you've actually hit the enter key, there's this button up here, the show hide breaks button, or I think they call them marks in Word. And when you click that, you're going to see some what's referred to as invisible characters, characters that you're not going to see when you print. So when you click that, you're going to see these hard return symbols right here, and also spaces that you put in. Whenever you put in a space, it's going to put in a little dot that represents a space. So if you were to put in, say, 4 spaces, you're going to see 4 different dots on here. Let's get rid of those. So if I were to put my mouse anywhere within this paragraph, and the paragraphs start and stop where these symbols are. So if I click my mouse anywhere in that paragraph and say I went to center it, because the alignment is a paragraph level format, and I do center, you're going to see that all the sentences within this paragraph became centered, and the paragraphs above it and below it, this paragraph and this paragraph here, stayed left aligned because you only applied it to this one paragraph. So if I were to click up here on this paragraph up here, which is only a few words, but it still is a paragraph, and I were to click center, it's going to center that. Now if I tried to do something funny like highlighting just the word lesson and I try and left align it, as you may guess, it left aligns the entire paragraph because this is the paragraph level formatting attribute, so it's going to apply it to the entire paragraph. You can't apply it to individual characters as you could with the character level formatting. So let's put that back to center. And we come down here to these bullet points, and each bullet point, because you've hit enter after each one is a separate paragraph. So if I were to put my mouse on this line here and I did an indent, it only applies it to this one. It doesn't apply to the other ones. You can also select multiple paragraphs at a time and apply formatting to all of them at once. You don't have to do them individually. So if I select these three and I indented it, they all move together. So in the same fashion, if you right click on a paragraph, let's scroll down to this paragraph here, and click on the paragraph option, it's going to show you all the different paragraph formatting options. So this is where you can see the line spacing. In this paragraph, if we want to make it a single space, hit OK. You notice that everything was just condensed and now everything is single spaced. If I want to change that back to, say, double spacing, you'll notice there's a whole lot more space in between each one of these lines, as opposed to, say, this paragraph here where it's back to the 1.5 spacing. You'll also notice between paragraphs you're going to have a gap where you haven't hit the enter key, so there's this white space between here. If you want to change that, if you right click and go paragraph, you're going to see spacing, and it says after. So this says after a paragraph add 10 points of spacing, so the equivalent of adding a 10-point font in between those two paragraphs. So if I want to bring that down to 0 and I hit OK, then the space has been erased. Now it's still showing there's still a double space here. So if I, say, bring this back to single space, now there's absolutely no gap in between these two paragraphs here. It goes right down to the next line, right down to the next paragraph. So the next level of formatting is page formatting, and as you've probably guessed, is that this type of formatting applies to the entire page itself. And so that means it applies to all the paragraphs and all the characters within a page. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit more so you can see the page a little bit clearer. Now the page level formatting is found under its own ribbon called the page layout ribbon. If we click on here, you can see different options. We can change the orientation, so if we want to change it from a portrait to a landscape, we can do that. We can change the size of the page. By default, it goes to a letter size, which is 8.5 by 11 inches, and that's the standard sheet that most people print on. But if we wanted to print on legal paper, we can change it to legal paper, and now you see that the paper is longer than what it was before. Some other options include you can put a watermark on the page. So if you wanted to put, say, a confidential watermark in behind all this text, we can do that. We can change the page color. So you see here how it's changing the entire page to, say, green. We can put borders on the page if we'd like. So let's just do a quick border here. I won't get into too much detail. Say we want to make it a shadowed border. And OK, and now there's this border. It doesn't look too shadowed, but it is a little bit. So the important thing to realize about page formatting is it applies it to the whole page. So those are the three different levels: the character level of formatting, paragraph, and page. And there'll be a separate demonstration on how and what exactly section paragraph or section formatting is, because that's one area that most people didn't even realize existed, how that works, and that fits in between the paragraph and page formatting.